Hi and welcome to the third in our series of videos for Heritage Week on the Ogham Stones of County Kilkenny. In the first presentation I talked about Ogham generally, what it is, where it is found and so on, and in the next video I began a virtual tour of the Ogham Stones of the county. And we'll continue this tour southwards now to Tullaherin, which is here on our map, and there are two Ogham Stones currently found at Tullaherin. So first of all, the site itself is a church and graveyard, probably an early church site. In fact, it may even be the site referred to in our early sources as Tullaherin. One of the stones here, the one on the left, was discovered on site in the 19th century. It appears to be broken on top with some of the inscription missing. So all that remains is a V-I and part of an R probably, which would be a name starting Ferris, such as Fergus or the like. The other stone at the site was actually moved here quite recently. It was discovered in the townland of Cloghabrody in the 1980s. It was being used as a gatepost, and you can see that there is still the iron rod here which was used to hang the gate. The inscription is quite badly damaged, and in fact only a few letters are recognisable on the stone. As it was found in a townland quite close to the site, it possibly originated here. Next we have the townland of Legan near Thomastown, and this is what the site looks like. The townland name on Legan contains the element Lea, meaning stone or pillar stone, which may be a reference to our Ogham stone. In this case, unusually, it's not a church site, it's actually the site of a castle. And the Ogham stone was first discovered in the late 19th century, built into the castle wall. It was used as a coin stone. When the castle wall fell in a storm in the 1880s, the stone was kept on site, and in the 1940s, I believe, it was positioned upright as it is today beside the arch of the remaining part of the castle. The inscription is very badly worn and difficult to read, but the first name appears to have the element lub, which may be related to the word lubber, meaning weak. Now, this is one of the stones that we visited this year as part of this project, and we have also uploaded some videos from our site visits, so this is one of the sites that appears in those videos. So next on our list then is an Ogham stone from the townland of Cloghabrody. Now this one is not marked on our map, but it is actually just north of Thomastown. It's not indicated here because we don't know the precise location of the find spot. What we do know is that it was found on the townland and parish boundary, which runs along here, and there's a stream which marks the boundary. And it was found to the west of this stream in the townland of Cloghabrody, which is over here. And the townland on the other side and parish, this is a townland and parish boundary, we have the early church site of Columkill. So it may be that this stone is again related to an early church site. The townland name, Cloghabrody, contains the element cloch, meaning stone, perhaps referring to the Ogham stone here. So this stone, after it was found, spent some time at Thomastown Church, and then more recently in, I think it was 2014, was moved to Jerpoint Abbey, where it remains today. The amazing thing about this stone is that the inscription is particularly clear. There's very little damage or weathering to the stone, so that the full inscription is quite clear. And it commemorates a person called Philemy, descendant of Loida, so probably of the Curca Loida. So next we have Fidduan Upper, which is located here on our map. The Ogham stone does not appear to be associated with any church or other archaeological site. I should mention here that this and many other of the Ogham stones, for example, the previous Legan Castle stone, These are located on private property and you would need to ask permission to access these sites. This stone was also visited and recorded last month as part of the current project, and so you can find out more in the video on that visit. You can see my colleague Gary here recording the stone using photogrammetry, which is explained in the final video of this series. The inscription here is badly weathered. The stone was actually used as a scratching post for cattle at one stage, although it is now, as you can see, surrounded by a wooden fence to protect it. But the inscription has, between weathering and cattle scratching, has been quite worn away. But we can still recognise a few scores, and it appears to commemorate a person named Drone, son of the descendant of, and the final name has been too damaged to reconstruct. So we move on then to Ballyboodan, which is here. Now this is a massive Ogham stone. So it is 2.31 metres in height, and as you can see, it's also quite wide. When it was discovered in the 19th century, it was actually upright. It is now found near to where it was first discovered and lying flat, as you can see, in its own enclosure. The inscription just runs along one angle here, runs this direction, and it reads of Corb here, son of Labrad, but we're missing possibly a bit at the end here where there's a break in the stone. So our next and final site then is Lamoge, and Lamoge is over here quite close to the Tipperary border in the southwest of the county. And once again with Lamoge we have a probable early church site. And here 2 Ogham stones were discovered in the 19th century. When they were discovered, the one on top here was actually upright, marking a grave. And here you can see a photograph from the late 1800s, and the second one here as it looked when it was upright. The inscriptions are relatively clear, although the first one here appears to have been recut at some stage. But if we can trust it, it appears to commemorate a person of the name Dovsuck, which is quite a common name later on, grandson of Taltanach. The second stone then appears to again commemorate a person with a Latin name, possibly Severus, and unfortunately the father's name doesn't survive enough to give a definite name. So again, this site was one of the sites visited for the current project, and so we also have a video uploaded for Heritage Week on our visit to this site, so do take a look at that as well. So that's the end of our tour of the Ogham Stones of County Kilkenny. If you want to find out more, please visit our website where we have entries on most of these stones, and you will also see the videos on our site visits, and also one final video by Gary on photogrammetry, which is the method that we used for this project to record the Ogham stones around the county. And of course, don't forget to check out our 3D models on our website. For example, this one here, the Shankill Ogham stone, which is now in Roth House in Kilkenny. So you can zoom in and get a good look and rotate the stone so you can see the full inscription. And you can even try reading the inscription yourself. So finally, if you want to get in touch with us, we have contact details here, an email address, and we are also on Twitter and on Facebook, so don't hesitate to get in touch. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed these videos.